He said his last act as an active wrestler will be to kick Triple H's ass. It will not end the same way as No Way Out. WrestleMania will end with Triple H's WWF Championship in my hand. Great promo. Sold me on the match.
Great promo.
We're in the land of cheese. It's Smackdown from Milwaukee on Tales from the Attitude Era.
The land of... Isn't Milwaukee more the land of beer?
I don't know. I've never been.
It's beer and cheese.
I'll take your word for it.
Cool town, actually. I like Milwaukee. Yeah, it's like right on the Lake Michigan there, hour north of Chicago. It's kind of small and kind of cool. They have a river festival there and lots of weirdos. Dahmer, lots of, strange shit. Been a kind of big small town or small big town, however you want to do it. But the Bradley Center, nice. I remember it.
So you're making your way out west. WrestleMania is under 2 weeks away, I guess like 10 days away.
We're not in wagons.
Well, metaphorical wagons. I mean, it's just, last week you were in New York, in the New York loop. Now you're on the Chicago loop. Where are we going to be?
Some of us pulled off and got married and started a farm and never went to WrestleMania.
And so it's SmackDown at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Michael Cole tells us the show sold out in less than 30 minutes, which really just shows you how hot WWE is. Because Milwaukee is like, I get it. It'd be like a secondary.
Well, in this time it still was like house shows, almost here and there. But I don't think Milwaukee was on the. Sometimes it's like they haven't had a TV taping in a long time, so that happens.
That's
and that really
draw.
pumps stuff up. Yeah. So, and I imagine that was true. There was the only time we went there since I was there. So who knows, but sometimes you like give that little special thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hot crowd. I want to say they were there to have a very fun time. At least the editing post show made it look that way, but it seemed like they looked pretty, you could tell when it's, canned audio and when the crowd is actually like into it.
These 2 months specifically leading up to this WrestleMania, even 3 months, the crowds were insane everywhere. You didn't have, every time was just like, there they are. They're going bonkers in the last row in the rafters.
You really notice it
all
in the
the
Rock
time.
match, especially. Yeah. Of course. I didn't introduce. It's Rob Pasbani, Tommy Blacha. I just actually asked Siri to text you, by the way, and Siri pronounced your name the proper way, Tommy Blacha.
Nice. Yes.
Siri knows.
Yes. AI taking over.
Former writer for WWE. You were on location. You were here in Wisconsin as this was going on. You were part of the committee, so we're going to talk to you about what the hell went down. First, we get a recap of Monday's main event angle. A lot happened on Monday, and as we've discussed all the time, some people who watch on Monday don't watch on Thursday and vice versa. So when there's a big angle, you got to catch everyone up because no one's going to know what's going on otherwise. And as always, a great edit. It made Linda look 10 times more charismatic than she did on the live footage, which is always my favorite part of the WWE edit. Like when you watch a promo and it's like, oh, they didn't quite nail it. And then you see the recap the next day. It's like, oh, I guess they did. And it's just, the edit magic.
Yeah.
And
well, it's like football or anything, they do the same thing. And, and wrestling should continue to do the same thing. Like, let's keep you up. And then, did you ever watch like an old game? If you're used to like watching like football clips or NFL films from years gone by, like, wow. And then sometimes if you actually like, I'll see for some reason, whatever, like a game from whatever, the 70s, the 80s, wherever, someone like who's great, like, oh, Dan Marino. Then you watch the game like, oh, that was a crummy series. Oh, he's a human being. Oh, that stunk. You watch an like if you had old footage of Babe Ruth, like, oh, that was a bad play. Struck out. So just like, it makes it seem better than it was. Certainly.
Yeah. So Triple H and Stephanie come out to start the show. Crowd is hot. Immediately greet them with both asshole chants and slut chants.
Nice.
And Triple H says on Monday, Vince said he would have an announcement that would rock the WWE to its foundation. Well, tonight, my wife Stephanie will make an announcement that will truly rock WWE to its foundation.
Potentially cracking its foundation and having experts have to come in and see if it's worthy of moving forward. Boo.
Kiss. He sets his ire towards Linda, says she's trying to screw him. Linda, who do you think you are to demand anything from me? I want you to come out here right now. Linda, Mom, which gets some heat. Don't make this difficult. Get your ass out here now. Linda comes out on Raw. She came out to the No Chance in Hell entrance, but obviously you need to differentiate between Linda and Vince, and I guess Shane too, because he doesn't have his entrance theme yet. So instead, Linda is awarded the classic WrestleMania theme. Yep. So good. I have such a soft spot in my heart for all of those songs, especially the SummerSlam one. It's like a hard rock riff. Like,
oh yeah.
So good. Oh, and she delivers this in the most robotic way possible. I can't get across what a charisma void Linda McMahon, future Secretary of Education, is during this moment.
But let me say this, because sometimes you always try to get it to work to your advantage, and as you in real sports, not every general manager of a team or in every press conference that has someone under pressure or even coach is camera ready. So there's a weird authenticity to like someone being sort of like either just not a contrived public speaker, or you know what I mean. So that's stuff I miss too when you have like an announcer with someone, and that's why they used to put like Jack Tunney president, or it's kind of like, to me there is like a osmosis, something comes through of like she's charismatic because she's really the person. She's really the wife. And then when she says she wields the power, that's Vince's real wife. You know what I mean? It's not just like, let's get someone as his wife who can really deliver the goods as an actor in a moment. It's the thing I like about wrestling. It's weird, these weird blurred lines where it's like, how much of a presentation is it? It's still, you know, the kayfabe is fizzling out, much to my regret. But, you know, when you look at it like that, oh yeah, it's like you're mimicking, like I said, would be in... How often is it fun to see some kind of general manager under fire from a sports team? It's something horrible's happened and is like charismatic lesson, but is like under fire at the microphone, getting reporters firing stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it definitely worked. I feel in the main event segment too. It worked to her benefit.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute.
And there's diminishing returns to another charismatic, this woman coming out in this moment. Oh, it's just odd to me in a good way.
She says, Triple H, let me tell you who I am. I'm Linda McMahon, and I have just as much circ around here as anybody does. She says she makes it clear Foley is back for one night only. You guys repeat this a lot because I'm guessing in the time between Monday and Tuesday, there was a lot of heat from fans. And look, WWE listens to its fans, right? And so you wanted to make it clear he's not coming back full time. It's a one night thing. I imagine, though, because you really, really push it. Like everyone said it. Linda said it. Foley said it in his excellent promo. The announcers were saying it.
But you got to remember this. In that moment back then, now there's such backlash of how many like farewell concerts weren't really farewell concerts. I think, but looking at it in a little retrospect, like, oh, this was cheap. But we didn't really feel that heat. We didn't feel like, oh, you're pulling this one. Sure, wrestling and science fiction pull this shit all the time, and certainly this was one of them. But there was not that kind of fan immediate backlash or interaction where everyone was like stoked that it was like Foley and like, oh, this is just another typical wrestling thing where like loser leave town match, Dusty Rhodes has to come back as the Midnight Rider, all that kind of, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, now it felt like, oh, that, you know what I mean? I think if that makes sense. And a lot of that is nowadays because you just feel over marketed in how many bands, Motley Crue, Final Tour, you know what I mean? And it gets some of that retroactive stink on it that I didn't really feel at that time.
Okay, well, agree to disagree.
No, well, but you can't disagree because I'm telling you the feelings of that back in the day when you were just like in the third row, shit in your pants and diapers.
I was 16 at this time. I'll have you know.
Oh, diapers at 16, Rob.
It's easy to
But
remember.
you wanted to
'cause
see all the matches. You didn't want to have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. I was Richard Christie.
excellent. Yeah.
It's fun because I am the same age as WrestleMania. Like whatever the number of WrestleMania is what age I am at the time. So it's very easy to keep track. Even though
somehow I want a wrestler somewhere to say that with like, I am the same age as wrestling. It's kind of like sounds so epic, but then you think about it's like it means nothing. Well, if you think that I'm too young, Vince, I am the same age. Fuck, as WrestleMania. He fucked it up. Damn it. We're live, pal. Anyway.
So Triple H asks an interesting question. If it's one night only, what happens if Mick Foley wins? A good question to ask as a viewer as well. If it's one night only, he wins. He's the world champion. Does the world champion have to defend his belt? Well, no. Linda makes it clear. If he were to win, it would be a great celebration, but then he would vacate the title and there would be a single elimination tournament to determine the new champion at the next pay-per-view. And
it's a little bit more. It's a single elimination.
Yeah,
you're
right.
It's not quite like that.
Yeah, you're right.
It's more
it's
like this.
Elimination
which is better. And look at Stephanie. Stephanie has honed her I
will say Linda's monotonous delivery really amps up Stephanie's like, oh, this is a bad daughter. Like, how can you talk to you? Like we'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah. Oh, and there's more to talk about that because that's the big part of this. But anyways.
Yeah.
What was good about this and talking about this and coming up with this was because it plants this seed of like, oh, what's going to happen? He's not going to win. You really think like, oh yeah, I could see him winning and then retiring with the belt and then them putting up for a tournament, that's completely viable. So it does put that thing, which is always the difficult thing about a work, is like, how can you get it where people will think, I don't know who's going to win.
Yeah, I totally agree that it did create that aura of like, oh, I guess he could win. That could be kind of cool, like a tournament. They've done tournaments. It actually makes it so that he would be the coolest outcome. Like it would be the most wild outcome for Foley to win. Everything else would seem a little like we know Big Show's not winning. All right, let's put that out. Right. So it's like Rock winning is perhaps the obvious choice. He's the most number one guy in the company. Triple H winning a little less obvious, but you could see it happening just based on how things go. Foley,
but we do talk every possibility down. You know what I mean? And it'd be like, so okay, Big Show winning, pros and cons. Pros, no one would see it coming. People would like possibly shit on it, but then occasionally when you do have some long-term thinking like, oh, maybe it's good to have a surprise fucking people, and Vince will do that too, and that's what's so good about having a mercurial weirdo in charge. One day he might just say it's this and like what, and then like no one, or whatever shenanigans of someone underneath canceling each other out and him squirting out with something like a weird, so it's still possible, but most people, that's what's so fun about being a smart mark. Like, well, odds are no, but 5%.
But to counter that, you already went to that well with Big Show at Survivor Series a few months ago.
So
it would seem like a bit
even more surprising. Well, it's like nowadays when you watch, like, because of the gambling, if you watch, like, it's kind of annoying, like a baseball game and be like, oh, someone scored 3 runs in the 5th inning and then percentage of win possibility is now 79%, Oh, okay. Oh, the other team scored a run. Oh, that's 62. Like, so I guess you'd have to say Big Show winning 5% possible.
And Triple H ends the segment by saying he's going to hurt Foley and it'll all be on Linda because she's a cold-hearted bitch. And they censor bitch.
Yeah.
Which everyone's like, what? You can't, like, it's so funny because, like, women have been called bitch on the show for the last 2 to 4 years, but calling Linda your mother-in-law a bitch?
Well, it's just a, standards and practices. It's just a fun, weird, idiotic dance.
Yeah. No, I understand the censoring, especially with, the parental television council on your backs. I'm just saying, like, it's funny how calling Linda McMahon a bitch has more weight than, like, if Triple H called, I don't know, like Tori a bitch or someone like that. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, but even when you say that, but when you really look macro, it's like, yeah, that's the problem with like, and then the guy will be punched in the face and kicked in the face. I mean, where does it? It's all absurd.
That's true. Then backstage, we see Ivory trying to relax Crash Holly. He's on a massage table. He's like, "Oh, I'm so stressed out. Everyone's coming for me." She's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Let me just give you a nice massage." And he, as soon as he, relaxes and drops his guard, Ivory like brings in a referee and tries to pin him and get the title, and he thankfully escapes wearing nothing but a towel.
Yep.
Fun segment.
Also, like, just no mystery, no swerve. You're just like, oh,
yeah, you know what's gonna happen.
She's gonna hit him with. That's the only mystery. What is she gonna hit him with?
We get a rewind to show how Angle attacked both Jericho and Benoit to set up their match at WrestleMania. Kurt Angle comes out and reveals that while he's agreed to have faced Benoit and Jericho, he was only going to defend one title. Now WWE is making him face both of them for each title in 2 separate falls. So it's 2 falls. The first fall would be for the Intercontinental title, the second fall for the European title. A very unique strategy for this. And I remember looking very much forward to this match. Because
it's a little convoluted, but why not? And also it just gives each thing
it's fun convoluted.
Like, it's fun convoluted. Yeah, you're right.
And it was interesting how you eventually booked it, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a few episodes. Angle Benoit.
Don't tell me you have an announcement to make that's going to shake this podcast to its very foundation.
Tales from the Attitude Era to its very core.
Oh, the announcement!
So it's Benoit versus Angle. This is one of my favorite all-time rivalries.
Yeah.
In WWE. So I believe this is their first singles match on television.
It is.
And in general, like the 3 of these guys, anytime they work together, with Jericho being the third, it always delivered. Like any combination of these 3. And this is where the work rate in WWE really starts to step up. And you like in the next few years, it really, they start having like good matches. Because right now, I feel like WWE is mostly about angles and storyline, not necessarily the matches. And even if it is the matches, it's more about the story in the match as opposed to like the athleticism.
You're right. And sometimes it's rare to get someone like these 2 where like, ooh, let's just see that again. Oh, I can't wait to see those 2 again, Kenny Omega, Okada, oh,
right. It's very
that again,
to that.
Again, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's I agree.
So yeah, this was a very fun match while it lasted. These 2 have great chemistry together, and Benoit is just in this mix so easily, so organically. And it's clear that the office likes him. In a way, it's like he's been separated from the rest of the Radicalz I recognized here too. Like they're in their kind of mid-card gaga angle, so to speak, with Too Cool, and Benoit's in like a serious championship feud.
Well,
maybe
and
Gaga's
also it's
too far to call
it.
But it's a little less stakes.
Yeah, and it's Ga. Put it that way. But Benoit's one of those rare guys at this point through all this madness who's like, he doesn't need to say much. He's just intense, and it's all inside the ring is why he's over.
Yeah.
Weird to say and unique, especially in the Attitude Era. Just like, like, who cares? Who cares what, about his talking? And his talking is just like, he's just intense and man, a few words. And like, you want to see him in the ring, period.
I totally agree. All things considered.
Yeah. Well,
yes. But so it's
at this point.
Yeah. At this point. Yeah. Yes. In 2000.
None of us were like,
in 2000.
You don't think this guy's going to lose his shit in a bit, do you?
What?
Yeah.
So it's a great match. It's great chemistry between them. At one point, Benoit and Angle butt heads. Benoit falls down. Angle rolls to the outside. Oh, Jericho's on commentary, by the way. Angle rolls to the outside to grab one of the belts. He goes to hit Benoit, but then Jericho leaves commentary, grabs the other of Angle's belts, and he knocks Angle out. And the ref sees this. It's a DQ. Jericho puts Angle in the walls of Jericho. And it's a whole schmoz to get across. These guys hate each other.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things that, I don't know, I don't want to say it's underused but I always love someone on commentary and, this vibe and where are you going? Taking the headphones off and someone's going to have a run in. It's always fun that someone's been commenting. There's so many ways to build up the run in instead of like just they're running in at a certain, prescribed time. It's just, I'm a sucker for whoever getting involved. Like I can't take this anymore.
I like the sound of the mic drop, like,
all that. Yeah.
It really adds to the whole vibe. So backstage, Kevin Kelly is with Vince McMahon in a fluorescently lit room. You would never see a shot like this in WWE today. They'd have like a whole set stage with like red and blue lights and everything. This was just like, oh, find a corner.
Yeah.
Kevin Kelly.
There was a lot of find a corner back in the day, which I liked.
Kevin asks Vince if he knows what Stephanie's announcement will be, and Vince deadpan just goes, well, I think my daughter's going to announce that she's pregnant, and in 9 months she'll deliver an 8-pound anteater. Like everyone's like, what?
That was one that like, what? I think it's a nose joke for about Triple H.
I see.
But don't too hard because I said I think it is.
Like I don't. This one went over my head.
Yeah.
But he does make some announcements. He says, as far as the tag team titles, we didn't have a clear-cut number one contender on Raw thanks to the Dudleys interrupting. So we should hang up the Dudleys championships 20 feet above the ring, and they defense against the Hardys, Edge and Christian in a ladder match. The start of a very iconic feud. And it's funny, this isn't even the peak of it. Like next year, WrestleMania is the one that gets more remembered. So I'm curious to watch how this one holds up because I haven't seen it in quite a while. And Vince continues.
Oh, they changed the finish from the last time you saw it.
Remember how the Dudleys put The Rock through a table? Well, The Rock remembers. And tonight, it's Bubba versus The Rock. Good match.
Yeah. Why not?
Earlier today, Head Cheese are on a farm in Wisconsin. Al is trying to get Steve to milk a cow. And Blackman asks, what are they even doing there? And he says, it's cheese. So then Al leaves and Steve is trying to milk the cow. And the cow's breast squirts milk in Steve's face and he's had enough. So then the camera pans outside and you see Blackman grabbing his nunchucks and walking back in. And while you don't see it, you just hear a sound effect of a cow in pain.
Right.
And Al's like, oh, we got to get out of here. What did you do to this poor cow?
Well, part of me wants to say, just keep moving.
This was not good.
Not my favorite. Not good. And kind of the scramble of like, Milwaukee cheese. Audience should pre-tape. I thought, I don't know. I thought it was bad comedy. Put it that way.
I agree.
And it sucks to put those guys in that position too, because Al's charismatic and can be funny, but it's just like if you're going to invoke the possibility of Blackman beating up a cow with nunchucks, don't just do it off camera like that, and don't really beat up a cow either.
Also, it feels like like it's a heel move. Like Blackman's supposed to be. We're supposed to feel bad for Blackman, but I feel like Blackman's a dick here. Like. He's taking it too far, like I don't have sympathy for him.
No, if someone squirted milk, someone else, the cow didn't squirt the milk
exactly. If
purposely.
Snow squirted the milk in him, then I have some, but it's like the cow it's not doing it intentionally. It's a fucking animal,
Yeah. And if you're going to have an outrageous moment of beating up a cow, you have to see it. Yeah. In which case, but you shouldn't. So, sorry. Moving on.
Godfather is out. He does a spiel. Since it's UPN, he does not say hose. He lets the crowd say hose.
Yeah.
And I don't think he says roller fatty for this Pimp Daddy. Godfather's being censored.
Yeah.
He's facing the debuting Bull Buchanan.
Although, you know what? He should have said, because it's always that thing of like the crowd can. So he should have said, rolla microphone fatty for this Pimp Daddy. I didn't say it. I just said roll and.
Yeah. And look, I didn't know he was talking about blunts. I was 16 at the time, so
yeah.
I I probably no. I don't think I did.
Yeah, you probably did.
Maybe.
What does it matter? Who cares?
Yeah.
You were 16. You knew people smoked dope.
It was like heroin to me at the time. I thought it
For
was
God's
heroin.
sakes, he's a pimp. Yeah, but did the kids know the pimp was maybe gonna smoke marijuana?
But he's like a Disney pimp.
That's too far. The pimp is smoking marijuana. What the fuck?
I will allow sex trafficking, but I draw the line at illegal
Not
substances.
stoned sex trafficking. It's insane.
So it's Bull Buchanan against the Godfather. This is Bull's in-ring debut, at least on the main shows. He might have fought on Heat. And it's a good showcase for him. He's got some good moves. It's so interesting seeing new guys come in that aren't like, jumping from WCW. And it's like, oh, yeah, you still got to develop talent. Like, you're still trying to develop stuff for down the line.
Yeah.
I kind of forget that that's a thing during this era because everything just seemed to be so hot and working. You almost forget about the stuff that I'm not going to say it didn't necessarily click, but it wasn't as big of a deal.
Right.
Godfather got his win back, and he was about to set up for his finisher, the Ho Train. Boss Man runs in to attack Godfather, and then they just leave him laying. Double team him. No finish. Leading to their tag team match at WrestleMania. So my clean finish smart mark is in the back seat today. Like I'm okay. Like I get it. It. We don't need to repeat.
Especially this,
Yeah.
Who's disappointed in that Godfather?
He really could have used that win.
Yeah.
Backstage.
The tarnished in-ring debut by Bull Buchanan because of the schmaz nature.
How are we to take Bull seriously if he can't even pin the Godfather? That would be my smart work, I think. But,
no, it was excellent, by the way. By the way, it was excellent.
Backstage, Crash is telling Hardcore Holly that he's really stressed and anxious looking over his back with this 24/7 rule. It's like, Crash, you came up with the rule. Hardcore says, hey, don't worry, let's go out there, have a tag team match. You can trust me. I'm your cousin. Nothing's going to happen to me.
Hilarious.
You can't trust me. Who can you trust?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And so
I almost regret they should have doing this segment should have really done it 3 more times. What is it? He should have just said, what I'm saying is you can trust me. Okay. No, family. He should have just said it 5 times to just be because it's so heavy handed. You might as well make the hand weigh 2,000 pounds.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and before you leave, remember, trust.
And then after the break, just cut to them backstage before entering the arena. Hey,
sure. Yeah.
Trust me.
You can't say it enough. Yeah, I agree.
So they face Head Cheese. Al tries to put a cheese hat on Blackman. Blackman rejects it. This is how I remember Head Cheese, this moment of Al putting the cheese hat on Blackman and him forgetting. I can't believe how long it's been going, by the way.
Yeah.
I was reading Gewurtz's book recently, and he said he was the one that was championing Head Cheese backstage. Do you remember this at all?
Yeah, just exactly that. As we all were, because we really liked both of them. I wish way I look at it. My job is to try to get everyone and everything over.
Mm-hmm.
That's my job. Period. So, you gotta champion everything, but anything and also that has a inkling of something that works. It's keep working it. And those two transcended this bit, and it just kind of sometimes things go down a road because this is working, and Vince and it's sort of comedy and it's relief, and there's a lot of tag teams, but these guys you can't just put them in and get a win and whatever's working, so you just keep working, and at the same time you're just I don't know. As things go, is this a little disservice to the badassery of Blackman at a certain point? Well, fuck, I don't know. You know what I mean? That's the trick and horror of booking. Where are we now? And sometimes just like anything in sports, or too, that one just kind of fell off. And we've talked about before, you keep wanting escalating beats or funny things or whatever. And what kind of traction does this have? And I think at this point, this particular farm thing wasn't ooh. So at the end of it, you're kind of how's the black? Maybe it's one too many. Oh, then things start to feel in ooh, maybe it's enough for them. Should they turn on each other? Should we? You know what I mean? You guys start thinking that way. So that's the horror of booking. Because you got guys that are super competent, well liked, but the pressure's so on something, and like, is it there yet? Really? I don't know.
And it is interesting too how sometimes someone will show up and you're like, oh, I haven't seen him. I've completely like Val Venus, like it's like you had angles for him, and then it's like, all right, like move aside, like we gotta try something else.
And the nature of some angles sometimes it's weird because it's like that kind of like porn angle. Oh, that was so hot, and then like, but how does he transition into a competitor, if you will, or whatever? Sometimes it's like, oh, it's that. So some, like, thank God, fucking Isaac Yankem just went, and also Kane is like such an incredible specimen. But it's like, some of those weird, like, how do you get out of that gimmick? You know what I mean? And sometimes the gimmick can kind of like squish the person or something. That's why I was looking for like, oh, how can someone throw off their gimmick or be mad about it, or and it's an odd thing because sometimes people can just kind of like, oh, weird. He was that person that we all knew that was a weird, over-formatted gimmick from a while ago, but now they caught on as this. Rocky Maivia to The Rock, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. That was corny and kind of like a forced down your throat baby face that people
even
did.
Scotty 2 Hotty, you could argue, like it was a heel act that they were doing, being I don't know if you could say the word anymore, but wiggers.
Yeah.
And then and please censor me if you can't. But like then the crowd just loved it, and then they're like, all right, we're celebrating it. Back to the match. So it's Hollies versus Head Cheese. 5 minutes into the match, Hardcore shoves Al Snow into the ref intentionally to knock down the ref. Then a new ref runs down.
You don't know that was intentional.
Well, I assume it was intentional because when the new ref runs down, it's clear that Holly wanted the ref to run down because this is not the ref replacing the ref in the match. This is Hardcore Holly's ref to challenge Crash Holly for the Hardcore title. So he attacks his own tag team partner, Crash Holly.
I guess that does point to it being intentional. You're right.
And I don't understand. Just 3 minutes ago, Hardcore Holly said, if you can't trust me, who can you trust? But you can't trust him. So can Hardcore Holly not trust anybody? What's going on?
Oh, that's what we should have done. Damn it. I wish there was a time machine because there could have been a final retort like, you told me if you can't trust, who can you trust? And the answer is nobody. You can never trust anybody.
There's only one person you can trust. Yeah. Who? Nobody.
Yeah. That would have been a great button.
Line.
Yeah. That would have been a great button. Oh, and then a Hardcore Holly, who can you trust? A T-shirt that says Hardcore Holly and it says, who can you trust on the back?
Oh, I like that. He would have made his gimmick.
Fuck!
Which, by the way, another thing in the Gewurz book that I read was that Hardcore Holly did not like him, apparently because Gewurz ribbed him about having pink on his trunks. And I didn't even remember this until I watched this match. I'm like, oh, there's the pink.
Yeah.
like, I guess you could argue it's not manly or whatever. Or
also you got to realize that like wrestling's so funny and weird that like Brian was kind of someone to be like, if he were to mention something, he was like a fun target for them to just intimidate in a funny way because it wasn't like they were, like just the persona of Gewurz going like, "Huh, you got pink," and then it was just more fun for Hardcore Holly. You talked to him today, like, oh. Well, yeah, of course I didn't. Yeah, of course not messing with like.
It did seem that Brian was getting hazed a lot. Were you kind of like his big brother, like, hey guys, come on, or more like, hey, you shouldn't.
Yeah, I'm going to step into the.
You're not
hey
going to
guys,
stick up for him.
No, I'm going to join in. But it was all fun. Well, I remember like when Brian, we got to have him on. Remember like when he first, it just is so funny. Wrestling's just so funny. But I think he said something like, "Oh, can I sit this way? We're in a train, or maybe it was the plane, or where there's a one seat." He's like, "I can't travel backwards. I get like motion sickness or something." And it was just like all the travel, and then it was like Vince or so. It was like so. It actually helped him get over because it was so absurd for him to be like, "I can't sit backwards. I get motion sickness."
It is funny that like he's like a very clearly neurotic Jew from Long Island or from New York or whatever, and like interacting with like these macho alphas like Vince McMahon and these.
No, that's why it all worked because they wasn't even like it was almost like I don't even know how to rib him, So, but then he's just the idea guy to come, and then he did his job, and then was like, and then it just was more fun, So, but like, yeah.
Head Cheese win via countout. So Hardcore essentially chases Crash out of the arena, trying to pin him or challenge him or whatever. So they're gone. Head Cheese are, recovering in the ring when all of a sudden Tess and Albert attack them, leave them laying. It's the new tag team you're getting over. And they go up the ramp, and we see Trish make her Smackdown debut. We saw her on Raw. Here's her first time on Smackdown. And she reiterates the promo from Monday, because again, like we've said, different audiences. And she says, we give you what you want to see. T for Test and A for Albert. T and A. Woohoo!
Yeah. I don't know. I think somewhere... You got to remember too, like at that time, it wasn't such an overused thing. TNA.
I agree. It was a new phrase. It was
relatively new. So
it was like a hip phrase in the moment.
Yeah, sort of. But yeah. So sometimes you look at it. Then there's a whole TNA wrestling. Boo. Not TNA, and there's certainly parts of TNA I like just that name. TNA. Wink.
Backstage, Shane reunites with the Mean Street Posse. Apparently, the Mean Street Posse turning on him last year. Bygones, let's let bygones be bygones. Or so we assume.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives this whole spiel about like...
Well, also, yeah, I'm sorry, but the Mean Street Posse is like, it doesn't matter. It's like Charlie Brown in the football, if anyone knows that. It's kind of like... And of course, they're going to be like... Yeah, and they're going to do anything to be like, I know I betrayed you 5 times in a row, but here's a chance. Oh, of course.
Okay,
yeah, that's them.
If you're a not smart Mark, you might think like, man, these guys must be so bummed. They're getting buried all the time. But if you are a true smart Mark, you would realize like, they're getting TV time by being idiots,
Yeah. Well, and also it's kind of funny. Everyone gets over for different reasons, and hopefully people get over for multiple reasons that makes your lasting power. So, but they're over because people love to see them get destroyed. That's their thing, which is kind of like bad for them, but it's kind of like, oh boy, here they are. And, you just know, like, at what point is Bradshaw going to deliver the worst, haymaker of all time, the clothesline from hell or whatever,
Yeah. No, and they were great in this, I thought. I really liked it. So Shane is like gassing them up like, Rodney, don't you think you could be like The Rock? And he's like, I could host SNL.
Yeah.
Like, don't you think you could be like Triple H, Pete Gas? Like, you could be the world champion. And then he says to who's the other guy? Joey Abs. Joey Abs. He goes like, and you could be a hardcore legend yourself. Who Mick Foley's got nothing on you or whatever. And they're all like, yeah. And we see where this eventually leads. And I want to also, we'll get to it, but a lot of restraint shown. I'll talk about it. with the impressions. Then we see The Rock walking backstage, and this is like the biggest pop of the night so far because The Rock is the most over. And The Rock comes out with a new entrance theme, a temporary entrance theme. It's the Method Man remix of his theme on the new WWF Aggression album, which, what a great job you guys are doing promoting this album. Like, your music distributor partner, which I believe at the time was Sony, had to have been so happy with what, like, they're getting mainstream broadcast television airplay for their music with an entirely new audience that isn't necessarily searching for music.
I'm going to let people watching and listening to this podcast in on the fact that you used to work in the music industry, and now, so I'm like, now you're the expert. I'm the smart Mark for this, but
yes.
But I am going to point out, like, only you are getting that excited about it. A lot of people are like, well, that's not that exciting. Like, now, the way that's some of it.
You're right. You're right.
You know what I mean?
Like, I do know what you're saying completely. Like, nobody pays attention to this, but I'm like, wow, this integration is really next level. It's so organic.
Wow, Pasbani didn't get excited till the commercial for the, and you're getting double marketing for the music.
It's great. It's insane. They're getting points. They're getting billboards.
Yeah, you really like cinched up your chair. Now this is the point that gets really exciting.
Well, even the music video I think is so smart because they basically got like the equivalent of a phone camera shot of Run DMC in the studio recording their vocals. And then they got DX and rented a limo with like a high res film camera and shot them in a limo going to Scores and driving around New York City for a night, probably during the MSG run. And you turn that into this like music video that got airplay on MTV. I remember it was on the hip hop show at the time, like the hip hop version of TRL. I remember it was playing this. So,
but I do love. I have to cut you off one more time.
Mm-hmm.
The phrase "and got airplay on MTV." A lot of stuff. That wasn't the most incredible thing.
I don't know. I think. Look, I don't think it's that easy to get air. Like, I mean, it's just you.
Hello, this is WWF. Have you seen our ratings? We'd like to play a video.
Well, actually, this is the start of a partnership with MTV because I believe during SummerSlam.
I love how I'm trying to tease you, and you're like, "You fuck that."
Anyways. No, actually.
No, no one cares about that. Oh, I know, but then they got it up.
Needless to say, very impressed with the music department here.
Yes.
Even though nobody remembers this album, but it's like, I mean, I guess you remember the DX theme because the remix is really cool with the guitar riff, the way they do it. But anywho, so The Rock comes.
There's a bunch of people who remember that who are watching right now and are gonna reply positively unless like something else happens and they have their phone. Oh, I'm gonna reply to what? Yeah. Oh yeah, my chicken's ready. Okay, I was gonna.
Well, all right. If they want to, they can email TFT at gmail.com to make sure that we're not the only ones.
You are Segway Sam. Let's go.
So The Rock comes out with his Method Man theme. It sounds very cool and hugely over. And we learn that The Rock is going to be on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno tomorrow. And this is a big deal, too, because I feel like The Tonight Show was like WCW country for a while because, Leno did that whole crossover match in 98. At this point,
if you have a loyalty, then WCW.
Great impression. Wow.
WCW. Well, the numbers are there. Yeah, big numbers. So.
I feel like that's the Leno impression is all like the first like. So huge. I'm gonna try to find that clip. I'll post it on our socials if I do of Leno, of Rock on Leno. And I believe he would go back a few times because I remember there was one time after the Scorpion King came out, or maybe The Mummy Returns it was, and Roger Ebert was like the second guest. And Roger Ebert like heaped all this praise on him, like you're going to be the next big Hollywood movie star, and he was very flattered by it. So it's The Rock versus Bubba and Devon on the outside. Very hot match. Really, really good. And what's impressive is like they barely took any bumps. It was very punch kick, but just going around the audience. They do the gimmick where Bubba knocks Rock down by the announcers. He grabs Michael Cole's headset and mocks The Rock's catchphrase, and then The Rock knocks him out. And then he takes the headset and then he does the real thing. And, you're supposed to pop for it. The ending of the match had Devon set up a table on the outside. He was getting on the apron to distract The Rock, but The Rock threw Bubba into Devon. Devon falls through the table for the big pop, setting up Bubba for a spine buster, rock bottom. Spine buster, people's elbow. 1, 2, 3. We did not see a rock bottom. And The Rock, being the polite gentleman that he was, you see right as he gets the pin, he ducks his head in and thanks Bubba for doing the job. Great match, great. The Rock obviously is, miles ahead of Bubba on the food chain. And Bubba's a tag team wrestler, so he has the out that this is a singles match, not his forte. Sure. Bubba doesn't lose anything by losing.
No. I think at this point, everyone...
Right.
Would
anyone can take a lot.
Do the honors on
The Rock. No dirty finish here. The Rock gets a clean win, as he should. He has to look hot going into WrestleMania. Then we have Jim Ross in the ring. He brings out Mick Foley, who gets a great pop. Looks to be in good shape. Got a bit of a haircut. Looks cleaned up. I guess when you have a few weeks rest and you can actually sleep, you look pretty good. First of all, this was a great promo. Like this... It's insane how he could shit out an amazing promo without any effort. Like, this was so good. And I really like the first thing he did was acknowledge his lie from the promo he had right before No Way Out, where he said, if I lose, I'm not going to be like those people who said that they would retire and then come back in 6 weeks. So today he says, I showed I was a man of my word, and I came back in 4 weeks. Yeah. And I think, honestly, like, just that line, that's it. It's fine. Like, he acknowledges it. It's okay. He reiterates himself. This is for one night only. He says Linda called him and offered him the main event, and he tried to argue against it. And I believe this is a shoot that he tried to argue against it. And then he wondered, what is he doing? Why am I arguing against wrestling in the main event of WrestleMania? And for those who will take a little while to forgive me, it would take a lot longer to forgive myself if I didn't take this match. Great line. Says he's going to eliminate the Big Show. And while he considers The Rock a friend, he loved his time teaming with the Rock and Sock Connection. He's going to eliminate him next, and then he's going to leave Triple H for last and really go to town on Triple H. He said his last act as an active wrestler will be to kick Triple H's ass. It will not end the same way as No Way Out. WrestleMania will end with your Triple H's WWF Championship in my hand. Great promo. Sold me on the match.
Great promo. And you know what helps to all this is not only it's just him and his ability, but Hell in the Cell, tooth through the nose, limping, hurt. You know what I mean? This really like makes you like, if it were just like he was old or whatever, you know what I mean? It's just the way he wrestles, the way he takes bumps. You do kind of feel like, oh, this could be his last hurrah. Maybe they did want one. You know what I mean? All that like kind of like matters, I think, into making this believable.
I do agree that it kind of made it more exciting. Like all my qualms were settled with this promo.
Yeah. And it's always when you kind of want to leak some kind of weird character truth in, and then instead of just like, it's all storylines being written, which it is and it isn't, but you know what I mean? It's like, that gives it a little bit over the top with this guy, why he's that great. It's not just like, I'm delivering a charismatic promo on paper and here's the situation. It's like, oh yeah, that truth beyond the mat, the chair shots, the this or that. Oh, when it's too long, all, leaks in, and builds to that moment of making him so great and making these promos so great, in my humble opinion.
We got another GTV clip. It's Terry and the cat. She comes to Terry's room, thanks her for Terry letting Kat borrow one of her pieces of clothing. I believe it was a skirt. And Kat says she thought she would return it since Terry has more TV time, referencing the previous GTV clip where Terry bragged about having more TV time. So she gave her back her piece of clothing since Terry had more TV time, and then Terry unfurls it, and it's all messed up. She ruined her skirt. What an ungrateful friend. Then we have a match I was very surprised by. Lita challenging Jacqueline for the WWF Women's Championship. It's interesting how I feel like the women get a little more time on SmackDown just because maybe like the men need a break. It's like there's extra time, extra room for segments, but
I'm sure it's that thought out. It's just occasionally like, oh, keep that alive. Oh, what about that? Oh, a lot of times, like I said, the pace of this was so insane where sometimes it'd be like, well, reasons for not concentrating on the women. Oh no, there's fucking 40 fucking things flying at all time. Yeah, you're right. We should, and sometimes things will be like, hey, what about, oh yeah, let's give them a spot, in there. It just wasn't that designed like, SmackDown's the place for this. It's just, sorry, it's more chaotic, I think, if I remember, but.
All right.
Well, if we were to have 6-hour programs, everyone would get their shit in. Damn it.
You would think that. But it was a fun match. It was fun to see Lita work. The two, at one point, were doing a roll-around bit, and the ref tried to break it up and then ends up that he's rolling around with Lita, and Jackie's out of it. Lawler immediately quips, hey, let me get in there. Give me a striped shirt. Lita does a beautiful head scissors, which Michael Cole incorrectly calls a Huracan Rana. Understandable mistake, but... just want to point it out. Lita sends Jackie in the ropes. Jackie jumps over her, gets the pin. I guess it's not a roll. Is it a schoolboy? Like when you jump over the person, like the person bends over, you jump over them and grab them down. Is that a schoolboy?
I've heard that. Yeah. So it's like I don't know. Modified sunset flip? No.
Oh, sunset flip. That's what it is. You're right. That's it. I want to say that because it's so funny. I feel like nowadays, like if I miscall a move, there's smart marks in our comments. But, actually, I remember I called something Saturn did was a T-bone suplex, and he said, "No, it's a pump handle slam, actually." So I want to be clear.
I always enjoy a sunset flip pin because they're so rare.
And this was it, right?
Yeah,
she did a sunset
they're
flip.
so
tried to block
rare,
it, and then she got it.
They're the weirdest thing where like it's like how many times, especially through like the 80s, just like sunset flip and bring the legs in. and half of them, like the shoulders were down for the 3 count.
Yeah.
And just put like, and the leg came in. Oh, just even like as a little kid, I'm sure he's like, sunset flip. This won't be a pin. Never is, like occasionally a small package is a weird pin.
Yeah. Well, they do small package finishes a lot nowadays.
Yeah.
I feel. Like that's how they get out of not doing a clean finish.
Sure. But back in the day, small packages were rare, but they'll have them, small package victories. Yeah, it's funny, the evolution of remember the pedigree used to be just a run-of-the-mill move that was never a finish, until Triple H, and then it's like, oh, no, that's his.
I don't even remember people doing a pedigree.
I remember, sure,
yeah.
in the 70s and 80s, that was like a pretty common thing that people would kick out of. And that's our next podcast, the evolution of the spot.
Shane comes out with the posse. The posse is dressed as Triple H, The Rock, and Mick Foley. Pete Gas is Triple H with his big nose, with like a big nose prosthetic. Joey's dressed as Mick Foley with like the flannel. And Rodney is dressed as The Rock. He has like a people's eyebrow exaggerated. Yep. And this is where I want to give you credit, because a few years prior to this, DX came out dressed as the Nation of Domination. And that clip does not hold up because they are in blackface. And it was completely unnecessary, especially X-Pac as Mark Henry is in just just indefensible blackface. Like, Triple H darkened his skin a little, which maybe at the time you could consider excusable, but like the Mark Henry, I don't know. I don't have to go too deep into this, but you showed restraint here.
Yeah. That's the thing about, whatever. I'm sure let's guess who said, yeah, we should do that or whatever.
Yeah. Let's figure it out.
But it's like, it's been done in comedy things when the participants get their ass handed to them, and it showed like but it didn't properly.
But DX were the faces. I want to be clear.
Oh, no. Believe me, I'm going down the road of like why they needed to be the heels. It'd be okay to do if you were like, I'm in blackface, I'm making fun of someone, and then, I fucking run into Ron Simmons and he fucking, oh yeah, and then he destroys you. Then it's like, oh, okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, we didn't have to deal with that here.
Yeah.
And this was a great segment. I really, really like this. So he introduces all of them as the characters they're portraying. And he's like, oh yeah, I forgot. Why don't we bring out the 4th member of the WrestleMania main event? The Big Show. And it's the actual Big Show. Paul White. Shane gets on commentary. Paul White obliterates the posse. Absolutely destroys them. Shane is hyping him up on commentary. It's a great segment. He chokeslams all 3 guys and stacks them, pins them.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Pretty good.
It. Then we have the de facto main event of the evening, which is Too Cool and Rikishi taking on the Radicalz, Saturn, Malenko, and the returning Eddie Guerrero. It's been about 6 weeks now, so it makes sense. He's out of the cast. He's ready to rock. He looks in great shape. And a fun match. We learned that Chyna and Too Cool are facing this version of the Radicalz in Mania, which, as a smart mark, I would perhaps take the position that these characters are being underutilized. But there's only so many spots, so many slots, and everyone else is busy. So they should be thankful they're on the show.
Yep. Yeah. I don't disagree. Yeah.
Yeah. But, and again, also, this will eventually lead to the Chyna Eddie Guerrero gimmick, which is one of my all-time favorite things, because it was like one of the times that I feel like Chyna was treated the way she should be as a character. And not that actually she's been great, like the way you've been treating her this whole year leading up, but like this was one of the more memorable moments for her, in my opinion. And it made Eddie Guerrero too, which is like they both got each other over more together, which I really liked.
And it just came out of literally me mentioning in a meeting, like, Joni speaks fluent Spanish. Really? And then really that wasn't utilized, but it just kind of went. And of course, like Eddie Guerrero was so game to be like entertaining and like, not have to take bumps and whatever. And like, it just like, I was like,
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's almost like a house show match. Everything is done for the pops, the big hot tag. Scotty does the worm. Huge reaction for the worm. And in the end, it's a big schmaz. Saturn gets caught in the Rikishi driver and eats the pin. Too Cool win. They dance. DX attack Rikishi, of course. Road Dogg and X-Pac are facing Rikishi and Kane at the pay-per-view, so they're getting that over. Kane comes in for the save. X-Pac attacks Kane with a chair. Road Dogg and X-Pac leave Too Cool and Kane laying.
A convoluted mess with some thread of storyline as a reason.
Yes,
so
it's a lot of schmozzing. But there's a reason for it, so it's fine, and it was easy to follow. It's not like you're like, what's going on, So I liked it. I was surprised it was like the main event-ish thing, but I guess the next angle is the main event.
Absolutely.
So it's Stephanie McMahon with her big announcement, although she didn't quite make an announcement, right? She just, I don't know, but this was her coming out part. Like if that promo that she cut the night after turning on Vince in December was her coming out party. Like that was her coming. This is like her putting her flag in the ground. Like, I am a great heel. Like I cut great heel promos.
And what you have to remember too, and then let's just like, okay, there's no spoiler alert. This is a huge slap, right? She slaps her mother, right? So this was like, not only talked about it, but this was super fascinating for me to see the McMahon family in action. And this was like, and I know there's divorce and all that now, but at this moment, I really was like, because they were talking about this before, like, well, maybe, and Stephanie should slap Linda. And then like, ooh. And then I remember Shane kind of like, oh, I kind of have a problem with it. And I don't know. And then this was and everyone knew, oh, this is the main event of this program. This is going to be the big thing. This is going to be huge. Because the McMahon family was that over. Everything, Stephanie was going to be over. So it really was looked at like, okay, as you sometimes always look at a Raw or whatever, like, we're going to go off with whatever, The Rock versus Triple H, whatever. We're going to go off. This is going to be that huge. You just kind of knew it. So as they were like talking about it, they really were. It was like, oh, this is a family business. And they were like, and they were talking it out a lot. And it was right there. It was funny. And it was like, Vince was, talking to Shane and he's like, if you do this, you got to do it. You got to bring it. You got to slap your mother. You can't hold back. And that was a thing that was kept being reiterated to her because it's like, you're not a pro. It's like, if anyone were pros, wrestlers, it's like, yeah, like Vince or whoever, like, and Triple H was like, yeah, you'd smack them. You got to smack them. It's a smack, but you got to do it. You got to really do it. And then Lynn was like, I'm okay. So they kept talking it out through the night, kind of like, remember, and there was kind of like weirdly putting more pressure on it in a weird way. Like you cannot like hold back. You got to. And then it was like, then it went into a discussion of more like, this is our family business. This is not, this is how we make our living. So it reminded me of like some like family that ran a restaurant or something. This is the night, or I don't know what. It was just so unique and so like, wow, this legendary American family. And I remember thinking like, saying, kind of joking, going like, when most people talk about the legendary Irish American family that's closest to American royalty, they say the Kennedys, and I would say, you mean the McMahons? Like just like this, like it was just like such a unique thing to happen. And then I remember them like huddling together, like with the emotion of like, because they still were riding this high of like, they just went public. They've just in the last so many months have earned untold millions of dollars, things, you know what I mean? So there's this whole wave of all this behind them and this moment and what they're doing and trying to continue this, and everything's going good, and it's like, here's a thing that will work. It will work good, and this is good for our family, and this is what our family does. So having said all that, that's why you really have to smack your mother in the face really hard. You know what I mean? And especially knowing that, and just everyone guiding like the sort of Stephanie's being in the business or whatever, but Linda like all like, Briscoe and Patterson going like, okay, yeah, here's how you do it. And you go down, and everyone there to give them the guidance of doing this spot. Yet it having, because, especially Linda, well, she's green, but all she has to do to get hit. But it's like, there's a lot of pressure on it, even though it's just a slap. So I was like endlessly like, well, this is really fascinating. What a unique family moment, and it's going to culminate in not only smack, and then after, of course, backstage they're all hugging and it's like it worked, and it was just like a weird like, oh, look at this family like hugging and getting together and really succeeding in America and all this, and because she really smacked her fucking mom in the face real hard. It was just odd, and I don't know, but it was like that was the big takeaway from this night, because all the rest were like, oh yeah, with that match, okay, whatever that okay, and, as usual, you kind of like we've talked about before. It's like, oh, there's a mediocre baseball game that has a bottom of the ninth home run to win it, and you go, oh wow, that was great, and then you start to pick apart the game. Oh yeah, maybe that's kind of lame game. So this SmackDown too, and that was important for all these shows to end like that. If they ended hot, it's like. Then break. Oh yeah. Well, actually, 3 of those matches stunk. Whatever. But she smacked her mom.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. No, this was very memorable. I remember this still. So she asks Linda to come down. She tells Linda that Linda was always jealous of her daughter, jealous of the attention that Vince gave Stephanie. This is so soap opera 101.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Linda tried to control Stephanie.
Yeah.
You made me make my own bed rather than having the maid do it.
Yeah. And this was, I remember Elvis riffing on this. It was like easiest thing in the world. Hey, what is a mom? She's jealous. She's this. She's a brat. Fine.
In junior high school, you restricted my allowance to $100 a week. Which is like, even now, that's a lot. Like back then.
Yeah, allowance. Yeah. It's just free.
When she says $100 a week, Lawler immediately quips, horrible. How could she? Lawler is totally on 70's side.
Yeah.
When I turned 16, you had me get a regular car instead of a turbo or whatever. That. It's so interesting because Dominic Mysterio cut almost this exact promo on Rey Mysterio a few years ago. I explicitly remember that he was saying, you got me a regular BMW as opposed to like the M3 or whatever it's called. She goes, when I went to college, you only gave me a 1-bedroom apartment. This part was a little weird. She says, so I had to convince the CFO to give me a bit more money. Even at 19, I knew how to use my assets to get what I wanted.
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be an investigation into the CFO? Maybe he's not at the company anymore.
Well, maybe the investigation started right after this.
Yeah. There's only room for one dominant female in the McMahon family, and that's me. She said she didn't think Linda had the guts to change the main event, but you know what? You're a conniving, and then she mouths it so well that the bleep doesn't even matter. She calls her a conniving bitch. The bleep, if anything, enhances it, I feel, because it tells the audience, like, this is messed. Like, if you just let bitch play, I don't think it would have gone over as well as the bleep. And obviously, the live crowd doesn't hear the bleep. They hear the curse. And bitch also, I want to say, was much more on par with fuck.
Yeah.
In 2000 than it is now. Like, even shit now is nothing. You could say shit on cable now. I think you could even say fuck on cable now, basically.
Well, it's more too about you feel like, the character's like, that's something she's never said.
Yeah, and then she slaps her own mother who takes a big bump.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the show. Great way to get.
And that's good too. Even like all the, just people are always like the details of like, okay, what should Linda's facial be? Maybe she shouldn't have one. She wouldn't be. Well, anyone who gets smacked has a good facial, period, because they're really getting smacked. And like, oh, maybe she should just go down and, and then just hold and hide it. But it all like, it's so fascinating and pleasing where you're just new live. You're like, this is going to be huge, because like all kinds of spots can go wrong or whatever, but this was so simple. But you just knew, like, because they reinforced it with Stephanie so much, you got to smack her, and Linda, of course, I got to get smacked, and so that tension was like really there. It was like so
you
odd.
Felt it. No, it was great.
Yeah.
It was a great segment. I really hated Stephanie for it. Like. So that's SmackDown. Quick Heat results. Not much going on. Val Venus, stuck in Heat hell, defeats Gangrel, another person stuck on Heat. Then we have Kai and Tai against the Hardys. Kai and Tai win after Christian runs in and interferes, giving Kai and Tai the opportunity to get the win.
Why not?
Then we have a tag team match with S.A. Rios and Stevie Richards, who's dressed as S.A. Rios, against the Acolytes. It's a no contest because the Acolytes come in, destroy them so hard, and they don't even take the pin. They just walk out.
Yeah.
And then in the main event, this is a fun main event. Chris Jericho and Taz against Christian and Edge. And the reverse happens where Matt Hardy comes out, costs Christian the match. Chris Jericho wins with a lion salt. So fun heat. We're on the road to WrestleMania. We have one more Raw and one more SmackDown. We might have some special guests sit in with us. We'll see. And we hope you're on this journey to WrestleMania with us. And as always, we thank you for joining us. Please follow us. Please, for the love of God, follow us. TFT Attitude Era on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, I think. But yeah, you're probably seeing us.
Especially those people who have ever slapped their mother.
Yes.
Definitely comment.
And if you have, email us, tftattitudeera@gmail.com. Until next week, this has been Tales from the Attitude Era.